Hey, what's up, y'all? Alright, first I'm going to say this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about, pay or anything like that, or give specific numbers. Unless I have like a really crazy week and I just want to talk about it. But, I usually don't like to talk like publicly about like what I'm making. I'm mostly like, I'm broke, don't ask me type of person. So yeah, but I do understand that these type of videos are like, a lot of people like to see these type of videos, like pay videos, especially if you're interested in going to a certain company. You want to have an idea of like how much like someone might be getting paid. I mean, everyone's going to be getting paid differently. It depends on how you run. So some people might be making more, some people might be making less. But this will give you an idea of like what I made my first month as a new lease driver for Prime. Never been with another company before. As you know, I got my CDL through Prime, did my training through Prime. So I'm gonna split up the screen so you can see like the actual pay stub of. All right, so my first month, first I'm gonna talk about the expenses with Prime. As a lease driver, obviously the biggest expense is the truck. It comes in the form of a weekly payment. First I'm going to say I have a new Freightliner Cascadia 2024 model. And I pay $1,100 a week for my lease payment for that, for the truck. And your lease payment comes no matter how you did. Whether you had a great week or whether you had a crappy week, that is always going to be the same, that payment. I mean, that's the biggest expense. You have other expenses. Well, I'm not going to go through all the expenses, but I will talk a little bit about some of them. Like you have your insurance payments. You have your APU payment, which is $75 a week for the APU. You have your taxes, road tax payments, and there's a bunch of other like small payments here and there. So that's that. That's my fixed cost. Also, you have to pay for diesel. I always go to the recommended Prime truck stops to get diesel, and then I usually save money that way. I think only one time I went to a non-recommended spot because I needed it at the time. But yeah, that's that anyway. So all right, my first pay for the first week was $2,100. And then I'm talking every time I tell you a number, that's the number after they took out all the expenses. Everything, this is the amount that I got deposited into my account. So yeah, $2,100. The first week, when you lease through Prime, you don't pay the full truck payment. They defer the payment, so you pay $30, I believe. Don't quote me on that number. And then you owe the rest of the money over time. So I guess they want you to be ahead at least for your first week. So yeah, $2,100, my first paycheck for the week. Second paycheck was $1,400. I didn't get the best runs that week. I don't know. Maybe I made some like clock mistakes or something. It wasn't the best pay for for a lease driver. Maybe that would be a good pay for like a company driver, $1,400 a week. But for lease, it wasn't a good week. It was more money than I made, at my past jobs weekly, but it still wasn't as good as I would like for a lease, payment, a lease driver payment. All right, my third week was, I'm going up from memory, but I will put up the pay stubs. Third week was $2,200. I had a good week that week, for me anyway. I guess I did things right. I got good runs. So yeah, that was my third week. My fourth week was $2,500. That was my best week for my first month working with Prime. $2,500 for that week. And my fifth, I'm gonna do 5 weeks, and we'll call it a month. Fifth week was my worst paycheck. That was my $1,300. I made $1,300 that week. I don't know what I did wrong that week. I just I do know that I lost like a day because I had a run going to Wyoming, and then there was nothing coming out of Wyoming, so I wound up having to go down to Boulder, Colorado. There was nothing coming out of there, so then they routed me over to Pueblo, Colorado, and then I had a load coming out of there. So I kind of lost like a day, worth of like doing work, so that didn't help. So that was at least one contributor to my worst paycheck. So yeah, that's my first week. I did the math on it. All 5 payments, it rounds out to, it averages out to $1,900 a week for my first month. So I'm happy with that. $1,900 a week average. That's definitely more than I would have averaged, most likely with as a company driver. I think I could say definitely. So I'm sure some people made more than their first month average more than $1,900 a week. I'm sure some people made less than average $1,900 a week, but I'm just saying how I did it. Everyone's differently, there's different people run their truck differently, So for me, anyway, I'm happy with that. I know I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to get more efficient with the securement. Securement, my first month was, I'm slow with it. I'm getting better over time. It's not about the speed. It's about the, to me, it's about being the efficiency of it. As long as everything's done safely, it don't matter how fast you do it. But I do want to get more efficient. So over time, I'm going to be even more profitable. I do understand that there's going to be times where I'm going to be in a negative. There's going to be times where the truck breaks down. I'm going to have like mechanical issues, and that might put me in a negative. I know there's going to be times where I go on vacation, and that's a good time, and that might put me in a negative. That's why, you got to save for these moments. So I know I had a good first month. Also, because I didn't go home for my first month, I wanted to run hard for my first month. I did have a few 34-hour resets, so it wasn't like I was, not having any breaks. So I did have some days off. It was just, they weren't like home days. I was like in the middle. I was far from home. In places I didn't know. I made the best of it, but it's not really like home time. So depending on how much you go home, you might have a better first month. You might have a worse first month. Some people went home. A friend of mine lives in Ohio, and he got home. I feel like he gets home like every other week because he lives in a place where, you run, you go through a certain area. Ohio is one of the states I go through somewhat regularly. So if you live like in a more convenient state for trucking, you might get home more often, depending on where you live at. But yeah, I feel like I'm happy with Prime, my first month. I feel like it was a great choice for me to go lease. At first I was going to go company for a little bit and then go lease, which I think is a smart idea. I will recommend that for other people. But I just jumped straight into lease. I just jump all in. I think it works out if you don't plan on doing a whole lot of home time. And if you do want to do home time, make sure you save up for it. Oh yeah, I never talked about taxes or anything like that during this whole video, so I'm talking about it now. Yeah, the numbers that I talked about was numbers that was amount that was put into my account, but it doesn't talk about taxes. It's before taxes were taken out. So each check, I guess they recommend you set aside 20 to 30%. Maybe it could be more, maybe it could be less, probably not less. Because Uncle Sam's want their money. So yeah, that's so there's that. So yeah. Alright, back to the video. So yeah, that's it. My first month with Prime. Yep. Thanks for watching. And peace.